How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Barnsley. So it's me, Ryan, and today I've got my League One predictions. League One this season is looking very, very hard, and I do think it's a very unpredictable league at both ends. You've got about 12 teams at the top end that will all end up eventually probably could fight in playoffs, and then you've got another 12 at the bottom. They're all fighting to stay up. Then you've got not, I won't say 12 at the bottom. I'll go from about 18th to 24th. They'll all be fighting in a relegation battle between each other. So it's quite an unpredictable league to predict, really. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So for my 22-23 League One predictions, in 24th place I've got Forest Green Rovers. I've just decided to go for Forest Green because they lost Abu Adams, Nicky Cadden to us obviously, and Kane Wilson, which are three left back, right back and a centre mid. I don't think they've recruited quite as well as what they could have to sign in, to bringing in better players. Because you look at the players that they've signed, and I'll get it up on the screen here. David Davis in centre mid, who, yeah, he's got that experience, he's got that championship experience from what he had with Birmingham. But I don't really see him making a big difference like Abu Adams would have. David Davis, he's got that experience in League One and Championship that you need to sort of survive, but I really can't see him staying up, especially with the manager Rob Edwards leaving to go into Watford. And they've brought in, I don't know the manager's name, but they've brought in another manager that I don't think will quite get on as well as what Rob Edwards has done and carry on Rob Edwards' legacy there. In 23rd, I've gone for Port Vale. Now, Port Vale recently been promoted, just like Forest Green. I don't think they have the strength in the squad that will keep them up. They've signed Funzo Ojo and Gavin Massey, two players with arguably really good experience that could take them somewhat, not to the place where they're down by Christmas, but to the point where they'll be fighting to stay up. They won't be down straight away, but they'll fight. Like the same with Forest Green, they've got the experience that you need. It's just the strength of the squad at the moment isn't as good as what it needs to be to keep in this league. It's an highly tough league this year, especially with the likes of Derby and MK Dons still back in Plymouth and Charlton, teams like that. There's 12 teams that you've practically got to be as strong as in competing with. In order to, that's like half the league really that you've got to keep up with in order to make sure that you don't end up just falling out rapidly, because that's what this league can do. It can catch up on you massively. But Port Vale, they'll do okay, but they'll do alright results wise, but I can see them just getting relegated just purely off the strength of the other teams in the league. They won't have the backing sort of thing to stay up, I don't think. In 22nd, I have Exeter City. Now, another promoted side, but I can't see staying up, unfortunately, just like Port Vale and Forest Green. Until, I think it was a few days ago, Exeter hadn't signed a player. Now that, to me, is very worrying for a side that needs to sort of bring players in order to manage to stay up. Only signing Jamal Blackman and Choke on loan from Southampton doesn't really give me any optimism for them this season. Though it's a hard one with Exeter, because you look at how they did last year and they did really well, but then you look at the same again, the other strengths of the teams in the league, and you can't really see them staying up, I'm afraid. It'd be nice to have them to stay up. Like Exeter, it's a good away day, it's a nice place, but I can't see them staying up with the signings that they've made. Unfortunately, I can't see them getting anywhere this season, and I think that Exeter will go straight back down. In 21st, I've got Markham. Now Markham are a team. I like Markham as a team. I like Markham, but I can't see it with the signings that they've made. And the strength of the squad, I don't think they'll stay up. They've got Derek Adams in charge at the moment, who I think could be okay for them. But you look at the signings that they've made to try and stay in the league. You've got Ashley Hunter from Salford. Yes, he has that experience with Fleetwood in League One, but he was hardly sparkling for Salford in his time there. You also got Donald Love, another one from Salford, who, yeah, he has the same experience with Sunderland and Shrewsbury, I think it was, but I can't see him having... They're players that, if you're starting them week in, week out, you expect to see like proper strength from the off. But I really can't see it this year for Markham, I'm afraid. They'll do well. They'll have a proper battle to stay up. They'll get the best shot, but I can't see it happening this year. In 20th position and to stay up, I have Fleetwood. Fleetwood are a team that last year they was battling again to go down, and this year I am, just because of how weak the other teams around them are, I feel like they will stay up. They brought in new manager Scott Brown, who, yes, it's his first role in management, but you saw the leadership he had at Celtic and Aberdeen throughout his time, and I think he will get the team like fired up, so to speak. They brought in Sean Rooney from St Johnstone. Now, I watched some of the playoffs last year, like St Johnstone's playoff games, and Sean Rooney was immense for them. So bringing in Sean Rooney is a massive, massive step forward for him, I think. They've also signed Josh Vale and Josh Earl. Now, Josh Vale has that experience with Bolton before, where he was really quite good for them. And Josh Earl with Preston, the same again. He's got that experience. But just because it's Scott Brown's first management season, I can't see him having like too many good games. So they've got it's a weak squad in comparison to your likes of Burton and Shrewsbury and Lincoln and the teams that they're going to be battling against in this bottom half of the table. And ultimately, I just can't see him providing much this season, just being drawn into another relegation battle, I'm afraid. But yeah, 20th, Fleetwood. In 19th, I have Cheltenham. Now, Cheltenham is a team who've just recently lost manager to us, obviously, in Michael Duff leaving and going to Barnsley, obviously. Now, with losing Michael Duff, also comes all he's built up over the past few years. The marvellous finish that they had last year in the league, the highest I've ever had in League One. All that's been built up, I can't see it carrying on anymore, to be fair. I've got them in 19th because I think they've made some good acquisitions this season, but I can't see them getting any higher than 19th. It's Wade Elliott's first season in management. An inexperienced manager isn't necessarily what you need after just losing your manager. You could have gone out and got any other manager that's like got some sort of experience in the league, because it's only your second season back. I do feel you have a bit of second season syndrome, but with the signing of Luke Southwood on loan, a class goalkeeper, I do think you'll do okay this season and you'll manage to stay up. In 18th, I have Bristol Rovers. Joey Barton's side smashed it on the last day last season to go up in the automatic promotion places, and I do think they'll do quite well this year and smash the odds of what they're against. Joey Barton is as much as whatever went off a few seasons ago with Daniel Stendhal at Barnsley, I do think he's a very good manager, and what he's done with Bristol Rovers and Fleetwood has been amazing. And the signings that Bristol Rovers have made this season, in your John Marquis, who will be a very, very good striker this year, I do feel he's dropped off a bit since leaving Doncaster. I remember a few years ago when Doncaster had Herbie Kane, Malik Wilkes, and John Marquis up top to smash the league. He's dropped off a bit since then, but I do feel that Joey Barton will be able to get him back up to where he once was. Jordan Rossiter, another midfielder who has got he's got links with Joey Barton from when he was at Fleetwood. Jordan Rossiter at Rangers as well, coming down a few leagues, could be quite interesting, and I do feel he will have a really, really good season for Bristol Rovers this year, and that's why ultimately I've got them finish 18th. In 17th position, I've got Burton Albion. Now, Burton are a team that you always expect to see in League One after the recent rises. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank in charge. Obviously, Barnes are looking at him. Didn't turn the Zoom on, so but that's good for us. But they're a bit of a boring side, of Burton. They're a team that'll they won't go up, they won't go down, they won't do anything amazing. It's a bit of a dead team, so to speak. They've signed Victor Adebayo, who obviously was at Barnsley, and I can't see him being amazing, really. He's 7 goals, and he's dropped down to League One a few times and done nothing with Bristol Rovers and with Cambridge. And I think this will be another season like it. I can't see them having to rely on him to score the goals. I can't see it happening. They've also brought in Onyango from Everton on loan, who I do think could be quite a good young prospect this season if he gets the game time. But apart from that, I can't see Burton making any shocks this year. And that's why I've got them in 17th. In 16th position, I've got Shrewsbury Town. Now, Shrewsbury are a team that I like the look of this year. I can see them causing a few upsets. But I've only got them in 16th due to the strength of the other sides in the league. They'll be pushing there. I think they'll definitely finish between 12th and 16th. But I'll put them in 16th just purely because of the strength of the other sides. The incomings of Aidan O'Brien, Tom Bayliss, Shea Dunkley, they're 3 players that'll do immense this year for them. And Shrewsbury will cause a lot of upsets. And I do think that they'll be pushing on to try and get into the top half of the table. You look at Aidan O'Brien from his time at Millwall and Sunderland and how well he was there. Shea Dunkley at Wednesday and Wigan. They're 2 main players that have got that experience. I keep saying that you need to get out of this league and to try and push on. You've got Taylor Moore, who are at Bristol City on loan, and he looks like he could be a good centre-back again this year. Could be a good defensive option for him. But ultimately, it's hard to predict this middle bit of the table because they're all strong teams. But I've got 16 for Shrewsbury. In 15th position, I've got Accrington Stanley. Now, Accrington are a team that, it's the same as Burton, you expect to see in League One. They'll not provide any shocks. They'll be a dead rubber team, basically. They'll surprise some. They'll make some surprise results, but I can't see them being anything special this year. They've lost Ross Sykes and they've lost Matt Butcher. Now they're two players that could be. I think Accrington will struggle a bit this year, just purely down to the strength of the other teams. Like I said, the incoming of Sean Whaley could provide something new for Accrington in terms of pace and experience, but I can't see Accrington doing anything this year, unfortunately, and that's why I've got them in 15th position. In 14th position, I've got Cambridge. Now, Cambridge are a team that last year you saw they made some upsets, Newcastle in the FA Cup, and they finished quite strongly in the division. This year, it's like I say, it's hard to predict. I've got them in 14th. I could see them as low as 17th. It's hard to predict. They've got the Houlihan left, key experienced man who practically got them up in the first place into League One. They've lost Jack Iredale to Bolton. It's them type of players, losing them, that is going to hit them hard this year. They've not replaced them right well. You've got Sayuku Jana from Bristol City, who, yeah, is there to score the goals, but I can't see him scoring much this season. They're not really recruited well at all for where the gaps are in the league, where the gaps are in the squad, sorry, and I just can't see him providing any shocks. So I have him in 14th, but I can see him finishing as low as 17th, maybe even 18th. Now, in 13th, I have Lincoln City. Lincoln are a team I really do like the look of this year. I can see them finishing quite high up, but if the signings that they've made don't produce as much as what you think they would, I can see them dropping down. You see, they brought in Charles Vernam, Paddy O'Connor from Bradford. Both of them on a free transfer is a good bit of business. And I can see Vernam being very, very good for Lincoln this year. They also brought in Oakley Booth from Stoke, who I do like the look of this year. And I think if he's injury free it could be a really key signing for Lincoln this year. I've got Lincoln in 13th, just down purely to the fact they're the best of the rest. You've got 12 teams in this division who are massive, massive teams, and Lincoln, they haven't got the backing to push them into that 12 to make it another 13. So I've got Lincoln this season in 13th as the best of the rest. Purely down to just strength of the other teams, unfortunately. Now we're up to the top 12. For me, this is the most unpredictable part of it all. It's so hard due to the strength of all your teams, your Derbys, Portsmouths, Ipswich, Boltons. They will all be really, really difficult teams to play against this year. But in 12th, I've got Charlton Athletic. Now, Charlton are a team I do like the look of this year. Ben Garner, bringing Ben Garner in from Swindon Town is massive. And for Ben Garner to go and raid his old team as well, bringing in Jack O'Payne, Joe Wallacott and Mandela Egbo, I do see them being very, very good this year. They've lost a few key players. You've got Connor Washington leaving to Rotherham, who, if they kept him, I could have seen Ben Garner getting the best out of him. He's a key experienced striker. He's got that championship experience that you need to get you up. And I do see that losing him could have quite a big effect. Because I could honestly have seen Ben Garner getting the best out of him. Ben Purrington to Ross County is another big loss. But Charlton have recruited well this year, and I do see them fighting for that playoff spot along with the rest of the 12 that'll be in there. 11th, I've got Plymouth Argyle. Now, Plymouth are a team I rate highly this year. The recent acquisitions of Mikael Miller, Morgan Whittaker, Barley Mumba, Finn Azaz, they will be very, very good signings this year for them if they get the game time. They've not lost any key players at all that I think will cause them any upsets or will do any damage towards them. But the players that they've brought in I can see being very good for them. You've got Mikael Miller from Rotherham, obviously having that experience. He'll be immense for them this year, I do think. But the young players that they've brought in on loan in Morgan Whittaker, Barley Mumba and Finn Azaz, they'll be class this year. Finn Azaz at Newport was amazing last year. Had some really, really good performances. Barley Mumba is a young player I rate very highly, and I'd love it if Tarn got him one time. And Morgan Whittaker. Now, Morgan Whittaker were at Swansea, and when they introduced him into that first team a few years back, he was immense and he looked like he could be a very promising side. But since Russell Martin came in, Morgan Whittaker hadn't got the game time that he was promised under Steve Cooper before. But I do see Plymouth being a very strong side this year and causing a lot of upsets to the teams around them. In 10th, I have Oxford. Now, Oxford are a team that look very, very good this year. The recent acquisitions, Josh Murphy, who was at Cardiff and has been at Norwich, I think, and he looks immense. He's far too good for League One. He is out of this world for League One, and I can't quite see how they've pulled it off, but it's an amazing signing for them. On a free transfer as well, so it'll cost them nothing to sign him. He will be immense this year. They've also brought in Yannick Wildschut, who was at Norwich as well. I think I read somewhere the other day that both Josh Murphy and Yannick Wildschut combined, the transfer fees once paid for him was something daft like over £10 million. And to get both of them on a free transfer is just mental. So I do see them being very good players for Oxford this year to go alongside a very strong squad that they've already got. They've lost Jake McNally, to Burnley, which is, you can see why Burnley bought him. He was class, and he's got such high potential. But I do think Oxford will be very strong this year. Even though Mark Sykes has gone as well, I forgot to mention him. But the recruitment they've got in the attack, which is where they lacked last year, not enough goals were scored by Oxford last year. And I do think they'll do very, very well this year, and that's why I've got them in 10th position. In 9th, I have Ipswich Town. Now, Ipswich are a team that I do really like the look of this year. The recent acquisitions that they've brought in are so strong for League One, it's unbelievable. I've got them in 9th just because they'll be battling, and any team can get playoffs in this league. In this top 12, It is so strong this year. I can't see them getting it, unfortunately, though. The signings of Leif Davis, Marcus Harness, Freddie Ladapo and Dunball are all key signings that I can see firing up the leagues. They'll be so strong this year. It'll be scary for other teams. And I honestly can see Ipswich causing quite a few upsets. And maybe they'll have a really good start. I can see them having a really good start and dropping off. But that's just football, innit? But I can honestly see Ipswich being a class side this year, just with them signings alone. You've got such good experience. Freddie Ladapo, who were at Rotherham last year, who was class. Marcus Harness from Portsmouth. Leif Davis from Leeds. Now that, he'll be one of best left backs in the league. Can't say best left backs, that's Nicky Cadden. But he'll be honestly one of the best left backs in the league. And I can see Ipswich cracking on this year and maybe, just maybe, getting the playoffs. But I've got them in 9th. In 8th, I have Barnsley. Now, we're a side that obviously have sold a lot of the depth that they had in the side. You've got Carlton Morris, who's left. Woodrow, 2 main strikers, gone to Luton. You've lost Britton, right wing back, gone to Blackburn. You've also got a lot of the depth that you had has just gone. You've got Adebayo, who could have been a backup striker this year, gone. You've got Schmidt, who, yeah, he was on loan a lot, could have been alright in this league, gone. Palmer rejected the contract. He's gone to Göztepe in Turkey. And I can't see Barnsley doing anything amazing this year. I really can't. We've not got the depth that we needed. The acquisitions that we've made, James Norwood to try and replace Woodrow. He knows the league. He knows how to score goals. You saw that at Ipswich, you saw that at Tranmere. We've also brought in Conor McCarthy from St Mirren, who, yeah, he'll be good and he'll challenge for positions this season. But he's not I wouldn't say he's such a world beater. Luke O'Connell, now that is one that I'm excited about this year. I've watched him pre-season and he's looked immense. He can hold the ball up, he can communicate, and he's what we've been missing since we got rid of Moa last year. Nicky Cadden, obviously, best left back in the league. He's immense. And I reckon, give him a few more weeks, because he came pre-season late. Give him a few more weeks and he'll be up to scratch. And honestly, we'll get a lot of assists out of him this year. And he could be something special that we have. But yeah, 8th for Barnsley. Nothing special this year, unfortunately. And just another year in League One next year. I can see it happening. In 7th, these are a bit of my underdogs. I have Bolton Wanderers. Now, Bolton are a team I do like the look of this year. And I do think that they'll do well. They're my underdogs they could finish anywhere between 14th, playoffs. It's unpredictable where Bolton will finish. You've got Jack Iredale from Cambridge, who will be a good signing for them this year. They've also brought back in James Trafford, the young goalkeeper from Man City, who he will be very good for them this year. But Bolton, I can see them kicking on and having a good year. They've not lost anyone special that'll do them a lot of damage. And I can see them, honestly, challenging for playoffs or mid-table. It just depends how they start the season, really. And I do think that this year, if you don't start the season right, your team could drop off massively just due to the strength of the other teams. But Bolton, they're sort of my underdogs this year. They could finish as high as playoffs, they could finish as low as mid-table. It's unpredictable where they'll finish. But I do think that they'll have a good season. And who knows where Bolton will end up this season. In 6th position, I have Wycombe Wanderers. Wycombe are a team, playoff finalists last year, did very, very well. I can't see them doing it again, unfortunately. I can see them getting playoffs down to the strength of the side, but I can't see them getting playoff finals again. The league's just too strong this year. They've made not the best acquisitions this year. No real big incoming so far, but yet there still is 35 days left of the transfer window. They could be starting the season off, trying to see where the gaps are, where they need to fill in. They've lost Anthony Stewart to Aberdeen, which is a big loss. Key centre back for them last year, key leadership qualities, and I can't see him replacing him, unfortunately. They'll do very well though under Gareth Ainsworth again, and that's why I've got them in 6th position. Now in 5th, Portsmouth. Portsmouth are a team this year. I like the look of Nicky and Denny Cowley in charge. I do think they'll be very, very well off. And the recent acquisitions that they've signed brings in that experience, the mix of experience and the blend of youth in between it, that could create a good atmosphere around the club this year. Marlon Pack, coming in from Cardiff on a free transfer, is an excellent piece of business. He's got that championship experience and he's one hell of a midfielder. You've also got Michael Morrison, who they brought in from Reading just the other day, and I do think he'll be very well, and he'll secure and cement that centre-back spot for them and make them very tough at the back. They've also today brought in Dane Scarlett. Now, Dane Scarlett is a player I'm raving about. Even though I'm not a Portsmouth fan, he will be mint for this league. And honestly, I can see him smashing goals in. It's his first taste of professional football. I can see it being very, very good if he gets the game time at Portsmouth this year. I'm sure Tottenham will have put a thing in his contract to say that he has to play a certain amount of games for him, which could be good. Not for the rest of the league, but could be good for Portsmouth. And that's why I've got them in 5th position. Peterborough team this year, I do like the look of. They've not sold any of the key players, and I think they'll do very, very well again this year. They've kept the core of the squad. And with Grant McCann in charge, he's got Hull up out this league before. He came very close with Doncaster, and I do think he'll win the playoffs with Peterborough. I haven't got him in automatics, just down to the strength of our teams. But I can see him having a very, very good season this year. They've lost David Cornell to Preston, but they've replaced him with Harvey Cartwright, who, if Grant McCann at Hull, and obviously he's seen something special there to replace David Cornell with. I do think that they'll be very, very well off this year with Peterborough, and they'll win the playoff final. They've lost Mark Beavers, who he could have that leadership loss at the back, and they've lost Christy Pym as well, another goalkeeper. But by losing both goalkeepers, they've replaced them with loans, which can be a bit risky. But I do believe Grant McCann knows what he's doing, and he'll bring in the right players, and he'll bring success back to Peterborough. 3rd position, MK Dons. Now MK Dons are a team I do like the look of this year. Obviously, playoff semi-finalists last year, losing out to Wickham. I do see him having a good season this year. They've lost Scott Twine, David Kasumu and Harry Darling. Now they're players that, if before the season you saw MK Dons had lost them, you'd think, oh crap, they're going to be rubbish this year. But with who they replaced them with, I don't see that happening. Louis Barry coming in on loan from Villa, who could have that. He wasn't the best at Ipswich, he wasn't the best at Swindon. Give him game time, I can see him being quite a good striker. Bradley Johnson on a free transfer after being released from Blackburn. I can see him bringing that experience into the midfield, which is what they needed. David Kasumu leaving, bringing in Bradley Johnson is a good bit of business. Although it's like your young players are leaving, you're bringing in old players. Sometimes the old players is what you needed to kick on. And I do think he'll bring in a lot of leadership qualities for him next year. They have also brought in, I'll just scroll up on my screen, Will Grigg. Will Grigg is a striker. A few years ago at Wigan, we all know what he was like. He's not got it anymore, and I think that he'll get over 10 goals, but I don't think he'll do anything special and be like what he was a few years ago. They've also brought in some players from the Irish League, which I can't say much about really, as I don't watch the Irish League. But I do think MK Dons will be in a very good position this year. And with the recent signings that they've brought in, I do see them being 3rd. They'll get to the playoff final, and it'll be MK Dons versus Peterborough in that playoff final, with Peterborough just edging it. Next, we're on to the top 2. Now, in 2nd place, I have Derby County. Now, Derby, they've had the financial troubles, they've had the point deductions, they've had the squad just ripped apart by anyone and everyone that could get their hands on the players. but I do think that Derby will do very well this year. Now, let me just scroll up on my screen. Derby have brought in a hefty amount of players. A lot of experienced ones. Tom Barkhausen and Preston, you know what he'll like. He's quick, he's rapid, he will score goals. David McGoldrick left Sheffield United. You saw in Championship how good he was. He can score goals whenever. On his day, he is amazing. He will score plenty in this league. James Collins, another striker who will score plenty in this league. Conor Orian, Barnsley legend, obviously, and everyone knows what he could do. You saw him in Championship last year. He was immense, and I do think that Derby will be in a very good position this year with the players that they've signed. Although the squad depth's been ruined, the amount of signings that they've brought in, a mix between youth and a youthful amount of transfers and an experienced amount of transfers, I can see them being in a very good position this year. And that's why I've got Derby to be second, because they're one of the strongest sides in this league. And although, yeah, you can say about, oh, they haven't got enough money to do this, they haven't got enough to do that. They've made the transfers, they've gone out, they've splashed the cash, and I do think they'll have a very good season this year. And in first, as much as it pains me to say it, Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday, they were unlucky last year in the playoffs, I must say. But I do think this year they'll win the league by ease. The amount of signings that they've brought in that will honestly push them further and further on, and I can just see them winning the league. They brought in David Stockdale from Wickham, who you could see that as a sort of plan to weaken the sides around them in order to get them up. Will Vaulks from Cardiff on a free transfer. That is an excellent piece of business. Will Vaulks was honestly one of the best centre mids I've seen when he came to work with Cardiff a few years ago. And he did these little backflip celebration. He was immense. Michael Smith and Michael Ikewe from Rotherham. Now, raiding Rotherham for arguably two of Rotherham's best strikers and defenders is a very good piece of business. You saw what they did last year, and you saw what they can do in seasons before, and I do think that they will be key in Wednesday's promotion charges here. They've brought in Tyreek Backinson from Bristol City. I don't know much about him, but I have a feeling that bringing in more squad depth, more first team players, stronger players that will push them up more and push them up higher. And as much as it pains me to say it, I do see Wednesday storming this league this year. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video today, guys. I know it's a bit of a long one, but I just want to give you my 22-23 season predictions. And I hope if any of you guys are watching this from other teams, I hope that you have a good weekend this weekend. If you go into the games, drop a comment below, tell me where you're going. And I'm off to Plymouth. You'll see me and Taylor, we'll be on the vlog. You'll see a bit of a scram review. I'm thinking a Cornish pasty this time round for the first game of the season, because you can't, if you're in Plymouth, you can't not have a Cornish pasty. But I hope you enjoyed the video today, guys. Let me know what you think down below in the comments and debate it, because the best thing I like seeing is people down in the comments below debating where they think that the teams will, if they agree with me or disagree with me. So if you got this far, just comment below and just put, cheers Ryan. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video today, guys, and I'll see you on Saturday for Barnsley versus Plymouth. See you later.